Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're coming across this YouTube channel for the first time, my name is Michael Abiodun, and on this channel what we do is talking therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, motivational interviewing, and considering my background, in behavioral change and working as a behavioral change therapist, I'll be talking around subject that impacts on behaviors and how we can move past certain challenging behavior, right? If this is something that excites you, please do well to subscribe to this channel, like, share, turn on the notification bell, do all the good stuff so you will be the first person to get my video when I drop them, right? Yes, so without much ado, let's dive into today's content. So today's video is looking at a particular subject matter that is very dear to my heart, simply because in my practice, I have seen a lot of individuals who have committed themselves to certain changes, but then it tends not to work out at the end of the day, all right? And considering the fact that, yes, we are coming to the end of 2024, a lot of us had certain goals, certain plans, certain things that we wanted to change, certain things that we wanted to do right and all of that. But here we are at the end of 2024. We probably started those things, but then we were not able to complete them. We were not able to achieve those goals, We were not able to execute, those plans that we had in mind. Yes, I have come across this in my practice, and it's a very sensitive subject that is very dear to my heart, and I'm going to be sharing that with you today. All right, so depending on what it's like, I might decide to do this video in 2 parts. All right, but then let's start the part 1 today. Hopefully if there's room for a part 2, we could, but if not, I think this part 1 will be very good enough for you. All right, so today's subject matter is about self-sabotage. Self-sabotage, yes. And of course, you know what sabotage means, but simply put, self-sabotage is just a process where you as an individual, are not able to achieve your goals or your plans as a result of your own doing, all right? And that's simply what self-sabotage is. But self-sabotage doesn't just happen all of a sudden. No. You don't wake up as an individual and then you bring to an end your goals or your dreams or your aspirations or your plans. Nobody does that. Nobody just wakes up all of a sudden and then abandon their goals. It doesn't work like that. There is actually a thinking process around self-sabotage, and I'll be sharing with you 3 of those thinking process. 3 of such thinking process. And trust me, some of you watching this video might have experienced this thinking process. So I'll be sharing those thinking process with you. Now, depending on what you want to change or the behavior that you're trying to, amend or, stop doing entirely, there is this particular thinking process that supports self-sabotage, and that is the thinking of the good old days. The good old days. This is a risky thinking that supports self-sabotage. And in my practice, I have come across a lot of people who come up with such thinking process. All right, see, if you're trying to change a certain behavior, if you're trying to achieve a certain goal, all right, it's important for you to watch out for such thinking, such as the good old days. This thinking is actually a one-sided thinking that only reminds you of the good old days, all right? It doesn't remind you of your failures in the past. It doesn't. It doesn't bring to your memory how you have made mistakes in the past. It doesn't bring to your memory the errors that you have made. It only brings to you the good old days, all right? if you allow that risky thinking, all right, to persist, trust me, it's only going to lead you to self-sabotaging your goals. Probably you as an individual, you're trying to lose weight, right? And then you have been advised to stay away from certain diet, which has probably been making you add weight. Yes. And this diet, they are diet that you love. You simply love those diets. All right. But then you want to lose weight and you've been advised to stay away from certain diet. But then you started staying away from such diet, which is good. But then the risky thinking of the good old days start coming to you. All right. And this good old days is simply reminding you of those good diets. It is not reminding you of the danger when you go back to such diet. It's not reminding you about the weight you're going to add if you go back to that old diet. It is only reminding you of, oh, how pleasant such diets are. Trust me, if you allow yourself to dwell on such thinking, it is only going to lead you to self-sabotage. So it's important for you, rather than dwelling on such thinking, it's important for you to challenge such thinking process. Yes, rather than reminding yourself of the good old days, all right, remind yourself of the danger, all right, what you're trying to achieve by staying away from such good old days, if you know what I mean. My second risky thinking that I want to share with you today is the thinking of feeling coerced. You know, the thinking of looking at what other people are saying. The thinking of trying to mirror your own goals or your own action plans because somebody else is doing it. All right. This is a risky thinking. All right. And the solution to such thinking is asking yourself as an individual, before you set up your goals, before you want to change a particular behavior, before you set up your action plans, what are your own personal reasons? All right. What are your own personal conviction about these goals? Do you have a personal reason at all? Or you are only setting up these goals because somebody around you has the same goal? Or you're only setting up these action plans because somebody around you is doing it? No. If you dwell your goals or your action plans on somebody else's goals, trust me, you are only setting up yourself for self-sabotage because you do not have your own personal reasons. All right. So as you approach, and this is very important because we're getting to the end of 2024, we are approaching 2025. A lot of us want to set up personal goals, action plans, and all of that. It's good. But I want you to make sure you set up these goals based on your own personal reasons, your own personal conviction, and not because of your environment, not because of what you see people doing around you. What do you want to achieve? What are your goals? Because if it's become personal to you, it becomes personal responsibility. All right? It becomes what you want to chase rather than you chasing somebody else's goals and aspirations. The third one and the final risky thinking that I'm going to share with you is the thinking of hopelessness and self-doubt. Hopelessness and self-doubt. This risky thinking is very common. All right, it's very common before an individual tends to self-sabotage, self-doubt. All right, you want to question if you can really achieve your goals. You're beginning to question yourself. Am I really on the right track? You begin to self-doubt yourself. You begin to feel hopeless if things are not aligning the way they ought to align. Listen. If you dwell on such thinking process, you are only embarking on a journey to self-sabotage, right? So what I tell my clients, who engage in such risky thinking is, number one, The fact that you have decided to have a goal, to have a plan, based on your own personal reasons, is something positive to think about, right? You've decided to change your ways. You've decided to amend that behavior. You decided to set yourself that goal based on your own personal conviction. That is a positive, all right? So whenever you have this risky thinking about doubting yourself, it's important that you look back at your personal reasons, all right? Look back at the fact that, yes, you started this journey, all right? That is something positive. In the past, you probably would not have even started at all. You probably would never have thought about, setting yourself that goal. The fact that you started those changes, the fact that you set up for yourself these goals and action plan, that is a win. That is a win. And that is something that is meant to spur you going forward, making sure that you do not give up or begin to self-doubt yourself, which probably would lead you into self-sabotage, all right? There are a whole lot of other risky thinking that hopefully I'm going to share with you in the part 2 of this video. If any of you listening to me or watching this video have experienced this risky thinking, please do state it in the comment section and let us talk a bit about it, all right? So on that note, I would like to wish you a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. And yes, I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.